So I watched The Boogeyman.
Oh, how was it?
I liked it.
Yeah?
I liked it quite a bit. It was fucking scary.
Really?
It was scary.
Does it do the Stephen King thing where the ending sucks?
No, I enjoyed how it ended, actually.
Well, I know it's just like a really short story. I think the audiobook version of it's like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
I've never been a part of the short story, but the movie's directed by Rob Savage, the guy that did Host during the pandemic, that Zoom movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the same guy. And I think it's called Host. I hope I got all that right. But the movie's very well directed, very well helmed. The script I had some problems with, and there's one character in the movie that could be completely removed from the story, and I think it
no effect on it.
Yeah, I mean, other than they do a plot thing with this character that the main character learns from, but you could easily have rewritten how that gets learned. But like,
is it a bad performance, or is
no,
it just the character?
The character was aggravating, and it's just like every time the story would go to this character, I'm like, all right, like, why are we doing this? And I thought that the relationship with the family in the movie really worked, but they didn't know how to balance the screen time between everyone. It felt like right as I was starting to get into someone's character, they would go to the next person. But overall, I bought all the performances. I bought the family dynamic within itself. And I think young Leia is the actress in the movie from the Obi-Wan series.
I'm not sure. I really don't know much about
I think
this
it's
movie
her.
Other than it's a
I'd have to look. I think it's her, but she did a really good job. I enjoyed the movie. I liked it.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It'll probably make some money if it's like the only horror movie out right now.
Yeah, well, it won't do terrible. It won't do terrible. And it was supposed to be a streaming release, so any money is good for that.
It's fair. Anything is profit.
Yeah.
Not profit, but...
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
still more money than zero, which is what it would have made on streaming.
Yep.
But anyway, guys, we have a really awesome show for you guys today. How it's going to work... we have a movie news section of our show where we have one main topic that we take a deep dive into and discuss. Then we have the B-roll, which is just some news headlines that we briefly talk about because we still want to bring it to you guys, even though we don't have time to do a full deep dive. Then we'll dive into the box office, and then we will end the show there. The big story I want to talk about today has recently come about over the past few days, and it's about the idea of censorship, specifically censorship of movies and TV and that sort of thing. And it also, at the end of it, the bow ribbon on top is physical media for life. So, the movie The French Connection, I believe it came out in 1971, I want to say, directed by William Friedkin, the same person that directed The Exorcist.
Double check.
It was a Best Picture winner. And it was a classic movie for a very, very long time, starring Gene Hackman, Roy Schneider. It's a great film.
71.
Aha, good. I got it right. It's a great film.
Gene Hackman was Lex Luthor, right? I'm thinking of the same guy.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
He's good in Royal Tenenbaums, Wes Anderson.
Yes. This film, eventually, as most films do, got onto streaming services, got onto streaming platforms, whether it be for purchase, PVOD, or just streaming VOD on a streaming service. Some people have recently noticed that there's a 4-second section of the movie that's been removed. Or a 5-second section, something like that. A brief section of the movie's been completely edited out, not even blurred, just an awkward cut, just boop, gone. And people were like, that's weird. Like, the streaming version of that is. And then it basically got discovered, oh, well, I bought it on iTunes 10 years ago. I must have the original version of the movie. You don't, because when you buy digital purchase, they have the right to switch out the version of it that you own. And so people who bought the movie years ago have gone back to discover that it's now the edited version. And the big one, the reason that it even caused a ruckus in the first place, is the Criterion streaming channel. Criterion, for those of you that don't know, are dedicated to not only classic film, but just like film preservation is a big reason for their existence. The Criterion channel has the edited version of the film on it with no disclaimer. And that pissed off a lot of hardcore film fans, film conservationists, that kind of group of people. Us. And basically, when we reached out to the Criterion, not many people could get statements, but a person who's also in the movie YouTube space named Robert Meyer Burnett, who you might know from John Campea and Christian Harloff's Big Thing, he, and his own channel, Observations, he got a quote back that Dan Murrell also played on his YouTube channel. Dan Murrell's made a great video about this, by the way, if you want to watch it. It's great. And this is the quote that Criterion had gotten back to Robert Meyer Burnett. "We do not censor any content presented on Criterion channel, though in some instances we include a content warning in the description of select films. We also frequently present films in director's cuts and other alternate versions as their markers and or licensors may require. The French Connection is a 20th Century Fox film title that we have under license from Disney, its current owners. This is the only version that has ever been available to us for streaming. The question you raise has come up when we have played the film in the past, and according to our licensor, this is a, quote, director's edit of the film. Here's the issue. William Frankton, who is still alive and still very active on social media, has not said a word about this. There hasn't been a single thing from him. And he's very outspoken when it comes to things like this. Nothing. Silence.
Like a Ridley Scott level of outspoken?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
And watch. We record this on Sunday. The show posts on Tuesday. Fucking Monday, there's going to be a quote. If there's an update quote on Monday, I will put it in the description of the video. So now people are just kind of going on like, why would Disney do this? Because we've seen them do it before with Star Wars with McClunky, and we're going to get into Star Wars in a bit in regards to director's edits and things like that. And basically, it kind of dove into the debate of censorship. And is censorship ever okay? When is it okay? Why is it happening? And some of you may be thinking, well, what was cut? That's kind of important to know, right? What was removed from the film? Well, it was two slurs, both racial, and one of them is the slur. The slur was removed from the movie, and it's spoken in the movie by Gene Hackman's character. And in this sequence, anyone who's seen The French Connection knows that Gene Hackman's character is not a very good guy. He's anti-Semitic, he's racist, he's all the stuff. And so on the one hand, you might be thinking to yourself, well, he says a really horrible thing. Let's remove the horrible thing, right? That's one school of thought. Because there's no doubt in anyone's mind that it's a fucking horrible thing that he said. No one is debating that. I don't think anyone who's mad about this issue is like, put the word back. Yeah. Like, no one's doing that. But on the other hand, you have people who, where if you watch the behind-the-scenes documentaries on the movie, Roy Schneider, who's also in the film, talks about going to the premiere opening day and seeing that scene happen, and African-American audience members cheer. And when they kind of got into, like, what was that all about, they replied, that's the first time I saw a movie show a New York cop how they really fucking are. Just like that. Just like the asshole that guy is. Like, that's how it is out here. And so now you have this film moment of cultural significance that's now erased. And you have, I'm sure, speaking of Disney, they have a lot of stuff in their animated films that they wish they could erase. Yeah. And we've seen them edit movies before, like Daryl Hannah's Ass and Splash. That was a big one that happened a few years ago.
Yeah, they like elongated the hair.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they put content warnings of like.
Well, that's what I was going to get into. Max, HBO, originally started removing content, but then they started doing the other route, which I think is the more appropriate, better route, which is just having a content warning before the thing starts, saying, hey, we're going to show this as it was made because we think that editing it or removing it would be trying to hide how times were, how people were at the time, and it's not as sensitive as to what it is now, but, we wanted to play it as it was made. Because I think when you try to hide attitudes or cultures or the way things were from a certain time, you're making the problem worse instead of showing how time has progressed and how things have changed.
Well, it stops the dialogue from happening, too.
Exactly.
Because now there's nothing to dialogue about.
Yeah. And another example I'll give, one of my favorite all-time comedies ever, because I think comedy is the perfect test of this. How many comedies have you seen where you watch it now and you're like, ooh, that doesn't really work?
Good portion of them.
And it's not like you don't necessarily have a hatred towards the movie now, but it's just a different lens you're watching the movie in. And basically, The Hangover is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. I think it's an amazing movie. One of the most quoted jokes in that movie is paging Dr. slur for homosexuals, homophobic slur. And that was quoted all the time when the movie came out. Some people still quote it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where when you rewatch that movie and you see that, you're just like, ooh, you know, and it's not even everyone who made this film is a bad person. That's just how culturally sensitive we were to that moment and that time, as early as 2009 or 2008. I think it was 9 when the movie came out. And so I'm sure everyone who wrote the movie wouldn't write that line anymore. I'm sure everyone who starred in it wouldn't do that anymore. And I'm sure the director wouldn't want to do it anymore if it was now, because people grow, people change. But would I edit the joke out of the movie? No, I wouldn't. Because if I'm watching a movie about guys in 2009 and what their attitudes were for that character, I don't want to see it hidden. Like, I want, like you said, that dialogue to happen of like, oh, wow, can you believe, like, people talk like this in 2009? And it wasn't a shock, because then you remember 2009, you're like, wow, people would say stuff like that. And it's just like the evolution of how people change, and it's a piece of film history, you know?
Well, I know another big one. It wasn't slur-based, but I know that, wasn't there something with, like, E.T. with Steven Spielberg?
Yes.
He edited out guns and then regretted it. And did he edit them back in?
He did.
He edited them back in and was like, this is a product of its time, and I don't want to change that, because then that's changing how that time was, and it, you know, like, it just, I don't know the full quote exactly.
Exactly. And, you know, while you try to make a film to be as timeless as you possibly can, having stuff be part of the time, especially culturally like this, is not always the worst case scenario. Like, yes, you can have some things be specific towards time where it doesn't come across well, like the movie Sex Tape with Jason Segel, where it's all about the cloud. Like, you know, who knows in how many years how irrelevant that plot's going to be. But in terms of, you know, being culturally sensitive, I understand that it comes from a good place, whoever's decision it was to edit this out. Of trying to be like, I want to see less of this, right? I get it. I think it's a mistake because, one, it shows how people acted at that time. It was a huge cultural moment for people who saw the film, and it is a piece of film that needs to stay in history. And when you try to erase that history and try to say, oh, those mistakes never happened, then you're taking away growth. You're taking away that ability to change, and you're erasing how a certain character would act in the story. You know, it's not like they were writing a character that was like, oh, here's the average everyday person and this is what they do. They were talking about cops in New York, and it was one of the first movies to show that. This is a Best Picture winner. You know? And so that's kind of how I feel on the side of it. I'm a big fan of the disclaimer of, like, having a thing come up at the beginning of the movie saying, hey, this has some culturally insensitive stuff to us now, but at the time it wasn't, and we just want to show this as a proper reflection of what that time was, and it doesn't mean we condone what's in it. I think that's a very perfect way to handle that. What are your thoughts on the whole censorship thing? And is this, and two things, is this the right call? And should it be corrected, essentially?
I mean, I agree with you about I'm a fan of the title card, you know, all that stuff. And I think, like I've said throughout this conversation, just having that dialogue is important, and removing that prevents dialogue from happening, because if it's cut out and you don't know that it's cut out, you're just watching this. And I think that it's something that should be corrected, especially for, like, the digital users and everything like that. And I could understand, to some extent, timing and like if it's on TV, like if the French Connection was playing on ABC, that's a different thing entirely. You know, when you're actually going in and changing something someone purchased, and you're going into archives, and you're a company like Criterion Channel that's all about preservation, and you're allowing that, I think that's an issue, because a film it's art. It's a piece of art. It's a work. It's something people put their time into, and when you're altering that art, you know, what was the point? That's not what the artist intended you to do or to see. And the fact that it might be coming from him is what's intriguing, and I feel like that's a whole other conversation of how much power should a director have over the movie post release.
And I want to get into that too, because that ties directly into Star Wars.
Because, like, did he just wake up one morning and go, cut it? And, like, how willingly can, you know, what control does he have over that? And look, I'll get to Star Wars in a second, but with William Friedkin, if that's a lie and it's not a director's edit, that's bad. But even if he did
do it. I still don't like the idea of it being edited and changed.
No, I'd like
personally.
to see the statement, and
I agree. And I'd like to see what William Friedkin has to say. Yeah. But going into Star Wars, like, you know, basically leading the argument of, well, is it bad if the director wants to do it? Mm-hmm. I'd argue it still is. Because I don't mind a director's cut. I don't mind a completely alternate thing. That doesn't mean erase what came before. But that's exactly what George Lucas did.
Yeah. In
1997, he made the special edition Star Wars movies and said, by the way, this is Star Wars now. Yeah. What came before in theaters, not a thing. Mm-hmm. It no longer exists. And when he sold it to Disney, that was in the contract that they could not release the original Star Wars under any, like the trilogy, under any circumstance. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's how important it is to him. And yes, it's his thing, and at the time he owned it, but like, you're changing history, dude. Like, that's not the movie that came out. You know, like, I personally hate that. Like, if they announced tomorrow that they were making a 4K disc of the original theatrical version of A New Hope, it was not even called A New Hope, of Star Wars, I would pay like $400 to have that. Like, what a piece of film history to have, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was changed just because the director was like, I don't like it, want to change it.
How much was changed? I'm not really too... Like, I know there's a lot of, like, added CG.
The only big one, other than some sound effects being changed, added CG, is there's a scene with Han and Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt. And Boba Fett's just in the background. But, like, it's a whole sequence that's not in the original Star Wars. Okay. Oh, and Greedo shooting first. That was another big one that was added in. Yeah. And then Disney Plus added McClunky.
McClunky.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's that whole idea of, like, I don't enjoy that idea. Yeah. I don't enjoy that idea of censorship either. Mm-hmm. Like, because, I mean, you can call it what it is. It's still censorship and editing a thing that already existed, even if it came from the person who did it. Mm-hmm. You know? And I don't like it.
Well, they're not really censoring anything, are they? Like,
you could say the Han not shooting first is censoring. You could argue that.
Yeah, I don't know.
To me, it's not even a censoring. I mean, it is. I think you shouldn't censor things, but it's the editing of something, and then now that original thing does not exist officially. I do have the despecialized editions that were made a few years ago, but you know, it either near there. Anyway, like I said, the point of the beginning was physical media for life, because if you have a Blu-ray, an older Blu-ray, The French Connection, you have the movie. If you have the original VHS of Star Wars, you have the movie. Hold on to that. Don't fucking get rid of that.
Now, moving forward, if I go out and buy The French Connection tomorrow,
if they release a new Blu-ray,
it'll be edited like
we don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'd have to see.
I'd be curious how
but
that
you
goes
buy it
too.
anywhere digitally. Now, can I throw you a curveball in the story? It's only in America. If you do a VPN or you're in another country and you watch French Connection on Disney Plus,
it's there.
It's there.
Huh.
It's only America. Isn't that weird?
It's also weird, yeah.
It's so weird. I wonder if it was like a legally logistic thing. But it's strange. It's strange. But
they were hoping no one would catch it and like yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was an interesting story to bring up. What do you guys think about this idea of censorship and, you know, specifically with the French Connection? I want to see your comments down below. Be kind and nice, though. Friendly debate's okay. If you're rude or you say horrific things, you're going to get blocked and deleted. Next, we're going to move on to the B-roll section of our show, where we dive into a little bit of more news, but just kind of the headlines to give you some quick ideas as to what's going on in the world of movies. Nicholas, what's first up on the B-roll?
Yes, also apologies for using my phone. I don't have my laptop today. Our first story, Captain America 4 starring Anthony Mackie has received a new title change, changing from Captain America New World Order to Captain America Brave New World.
My two quick thoughts are this. I'm very sad that there will no longer be a Hulk Hogan cameo that I was hoping for with the New World Order. And two, Brave New World, thematically, amazing title. I hate that book, though.
Hey, there might be a Hulk in it named Hogan. You never know.
You never know. But like the concept of the book and the idea with the Captain America, I think it's a good idea.
I'm intrigued. Our next story, follow up to kind of the episode where we talked about Superman casting rumors.
Yes.
Well, Deadline is officially reporting that screen testing is going to be happening.
Oh yes.
Later this week. This is later on Tuesday. Later this week. The people testing for Lois Lane are Emma Mackey, Rachel Brosnahan, and Phoebe Dynevor. And the actors testing for Superman are Nicholas Hoult, David Corenswet, and Tom Brittany. So the one we reported on ended up being correct.
Yes. I'm rooting for my boy David.
I really like the idea of David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan.
I'm rooting for my boy David.
I think that would be a great pairing.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Emma Mackey, I think, would also be great. I'm unfamiliar with the third actress.
Mm-hmm. I know Bridgerton was big, though.
Yeah, and I'm also unfamiliar with the
Tom Brittany.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult, he can do anything. Cast him as Lex if you don't like him as Superman. But,
ooh.
Yeah.
Go off.
David Cornsweet. I'm rooting for him all the way, just because when we saw Pearl in theaters and he showed up, I was like, he'd be a good Superman. And so if that happens, holy shit, that's so funny.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Could I? This next one's more of a rumor coming from Jeff Snyder. Matt Reeves is considering Joel Edgerton. We love Joel Edgerton.
Mm-hmm.
Or Josh Hartnett to play Harvey Dent in The Batman Part 2.
Yes, so this comes from the Hot Mic with John Roca and Jeff Snyder, who's famously got some scoops. And he did say that this one is more of a, this is what I'm hearing is going on, not like an official like scoop.
Mm-hmm.
But
thought it was interesting enough because we like both those actors.
Yes, both of them are great choices.
Josh Hartnett was the one in the Guy Ritchie movie, right?
Yes.
That just came out?
Yes, Wrath of Man, and he's in Operation Fortune.
Yeah. Right on.
Both great choices. We love Joel Edgerton.
This next story comes to us from Variety.
Okay.
Netflix has had the largest spike in user signups since January 2019 after they introduced their new anti-password sharing crackdown rules.
All you guys had to fucking do was hold the line. That's all you had to do. We couldn't do it. We couldn't hold the line, and now it's working. God damn it, guys. We had it. We just had to not sign up. Then their stock price would have plummeted, and they would have reversed the decision. Now we're screwed. We're screwed now.
It's lost. Next one's come from the Hollywood Reporter email blog that they send out.
Yeah, the newsletter.
Members of the Authority will appear in Superman Legacy. So that's kind of building into James Gunn's DCU.
Yep.
How he mentioned that one of the first projects they'll be tackling, obviously Superman Legacy, but also the Authority. So clearly he wants to start combining things early.
Yes. And I mean that's not surprising to me, especially with the superpowers of the Authority.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to direct the Authority.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, although I also wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, because I think he might direct Superman as like the pilot of his universe and then not direct anything else.
I can imagine being it small. Like I feel like we're going to get a Superman origin, him coming to Earth, and then probably the end is like, we've been watching you.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
We're here if you need us.
Yeah.
And then they just like fuck off.
Yeah. And then, because they're going to lead up to some big fight with Superman and the Authority.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that'll be interesting.
Next story comes to us from that same email chain. A new Leprechaun movie is in the works at Lionsgate. Why not?
Why the fuck not, dude?
Why not? This next one is a fun one.
Okay.
Kevin Smith, we love Kevin Smith.
Oh, yes, we love Kevin Smith.
Has revealed, one, that the Joel Schumacher cut of Batman Forever does in fact exist. And two, that he has seen it.
Nick, I'm going to let you do your thing. I'm going to let you finish.
Simply release it.
For new subscribers,
yes.
Nick's favorite Batman movie is Batman Forever. He has this weird sentimental attachment to it.
It's a great movie.
He loves it.
Fantastic.
And thoughts on the cut existing and Kevin watching it?
Simply release it. That's my thoughts. I would like them to just release it so that I could also see it and be like Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Although I think he mentions that the version he watched isn't done.
That's fine. Finish it and release it. Easy.
Yes.
I'll still cherish the one I have.
How cool would it be if at Comic-Con this year,
mm-hmm.
I can't get into Hall H for DC. There's no way. I'm not waiting in the line again.
Absolutely
but
not, yeah.
How cool would it be if at Comic-Con this year, they do the whole DCU lineup, and then this is wish fulfillment. And then James Gunn goes, but I know there's some fans of like all DC, and we're fans of all DC, so I got two things coming at you. I got the Joel Schumacher cut of Batman Forever coming to Max, and I got the David Ayer Suicide Squad coming to Max. That would be nice.
Listen, I would love both of those, but man, I just want to see if there's actually, because I know what Batman Forever is. Come on, we've all seen it, right? Mm-hmm. I just want to, I'm just morbidly curious about what
I'll tell you this
exists.
I know that Batman Forever is extremely important to you. If they release this movie, just text me and give me 15 minutes, and I'll be over.
And I'll be wherever you are.
Yeah. I won't make you wait, but I do want to watch it with you.
Listen, I'll buy Max for whoever wants it if they release it so they can see it.
Yes.
Don't hold me to that. This is not illegal. You can't. That won't hold up.
You heard it here, folks.
That won't hold up in court. Fuck, it might actually. That was a joke.
For legal reasons, that was a joke.
Cut out those 4 seconds.
We're gonna censor the episode and cut those 4 seconds out.
Jeez.
But yeah, and I believe that was all we had on the B-roll.
That is.
So now we're gonna move on to the box office.
The box office
section of our show. Can you pull up our predictions?
Yes, I can. All right, Dalton.
Yes.
You had Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, The Little Mermaid, Boogeyman, and Guardians. I went a little nutty, and I did Spider-Man, Little Mermaid, Transformers, Boogeyman, and Guardians. I feel like we're both wildly wrong.
We were both wrong. Surprisingly, pleasant surprise, Transformers did end up making number one at the box office, making $60 million. We were wrong about that. We said last episode it's not going to make 60. Made $60 million. Opening weekend. Again, these are Sunday estimates. The final Monday numbers will be in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse made $55 million, dropping 54% from week 1 to week 2. It's right where you want to be. The Little Mermaid made another $22.7 million. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 made another $7 million. And The Boogeyman came in 5th, making another $6.9 million. That could easily be a flip-flop when it comes to the final Monday numbers. We'll see. So naturally, we're going to dive into the numbers a little bit more here. We're going to do Transformers last because I have some fun comparisons to do. But let's first dive into Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That movie worldwide has already made $389 million. It has already surpassed the full worldwide total of the first film. And it's looking like it's going to go well past $500, maybe even $600 million worldwide, which is very good for that movie. Especially on a box or a production budget of $100 million, it's already made 3.9 times its budget. Excuse me. That's very good for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up next is The Little Mermaid. Whew, sorry guys, it's late. It's now had a worldwide total of $414 million. On a budget of $250, it's still at 1.7 times the budget. It's going to probably just barely get to profitability, but it will be a moneymaker, and I expect this will do really well on streaming and on PVOD.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has officially crossed $800 million worldwide.
Ooh.
At 805 on a budget of $250. It's made 3.2 times its budget back. I think this one will kind of start to see this movie die out. It might get to 820, maybe.
Yeah.
But we're right at the end there, and that's
not getting the billion.
No, but that they shouldn't be upset by that. This is a very good total for them.
Outperformed Ant-Man quite a lot, didn't it?
Almost by double.
Yeah.
And The Boogeyman, which I believe last time we set it a $30 million budget. Let me make sure.
Mm-hmm.
$35 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
And it has made $39 million worldwide so far. So it made the budget back. It still has a little bit to go to get that 2.5, but it's still in the top 5 of the box office, doing not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's dive into Transformers, the old reliable franchise.
Listen, I did the graphics that you're gonna see pop up here in a minute, and when I tell you, I was shocked by the Rotten Tomato scores versus how much the movies made.
And how well they did. Yeah.
Yes, and it was aggravating.
And you could see why after 5 they were like, "Fuck this franchise," and
Yeah.
the best one didn't do well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's go. Transformers: Rise of the Beast worldwide as of now has made 170. It'll probably be at 200 by Tuesday, which is not bad on a production budget of 195. So it still has some while to go, but I think it'll hit profitability. Bumblebee did not do that well, unfortunately, even though it's great. Bumblebee made a worldwide total of 465 on a production budget of 102. It cost more. Wait, no, it didn't. It was 195 for Transformers: Rise of the Beast, not 95. The brain and the way it works when it's tired. It did make 4.6 times its budget, which is very successful and very good. But for a Transformers movie, not pleased was Universal, although they should be because that's a hell of a total for its budget.
Yeah.
And it was made with Travis Knight, who's awesome, by the way. And the reason why you might be thinking, well, why would they feel that was an underperformer? Well, let's pull up the other one, shall we? The first Transformers movie from 2007, not the animated film, made worldwide $708 million on a budget of $150. Made 4.7 times the budget back. Not bad. It's about the same as Bumblebee in terms of how much money it made and relevant to its budget. Jesus Christ. Transformers 2, one of the worst movies I've ever seen, made $836 million worldwide on a budget of $210, 4 times the budget back. Yeah, it's doing not bad.
And
not
more
bad.
worldwide than
Yes,
first.
yes, absolutely. Transformers Dark of the Moon, the last one that I saw before Bumblebee.
Really?
This is where I tapped out. Made $1.1 billion on a budget of $195, making 5.8 times his budget back. Transformers Age of Extinction with Marky Mark, $1.1 billion on a budget of $210, 5.3 times its budget back. And Transformers The Last Night, also with Marky Mark, 602. So that one took that's when people were like, fuck this.
We gave the last one $1 billion. I'm not doing it again.
On a budget of $217, only making 2.8 times the budget back.
Still profitable.
Yeah, so Bumblebee did better than I thought it did, actually, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, but not even close to $1 billion.
No. And just for funsies, Transformers the movie from 1986 made $5 million in theaters.
The animated one?
Yeah. And it's because they traumatize kids everywhere. For those of you that don't know, spoiler alert for an animated movie that came out in the 80s. Basically, Hasbro just wanted to sell new Transformers toys, so they opened the movie with all of the Transformers getting murdered except for Bumblebee, and then they just introduced all new Transformers so they could sell more toys.
Further proof Bumblebee's everyone's favorite.
Yes.
Even Optimus.
Yeah, I think they did.
Funny.
I think they did. I have to remember. But it's been so long since I've watched it. But yeah. That's kind of the history of the Transformers franchises, and as you've seen from those Rotten Tomato scores, quite a funny journey that we've been on. But yeah, I'm glad that they're bouncing back. The last two have been really solid, and the next one's going to be a very, very fun adventure for what they got going on at the end of that I almost said the second Transformers movie, which in this new universe it is, but now they're trying to say it's not a new universe. Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
The next Transformers movie that comes out after Rise of the Beasts
will be quite fun.
If it makes enough money to justify it, which
I think it will.
I think
it will. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
I mean, it got an A- cinema score. I saw that,
that's true, which is good. And hold on, how much and Bumblebee only opened at 20, right? Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I mean, it's got a hold over summer, but I think that won't be an issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the little history of the Transformers franchise there. You know, the one thing I think about when I think about like the original Transformers trilogy. How similar, and this is not a knock or a praise of either movie, because they both came out around the same time. Because I think Avengers came out the year after. The third acts of those movies are shockingly similar.
Of the first Transformers?
Of Transformers 3 and the Avengers.
Bad guy sends a bunch of aliens to Earth?
Yep, to a big city. And although I think in Transformers it's Chicago.
Okay.
I don't remember. I've only seen it a couple times. It's been a long time, and I tapped out after that one before Bumblebee. I still haven't seen 4 and 5. I've heard they're just terrible.
Is it 4 or 5 Age of Extinctions when they have the
4
Dinobots, right?
I think so. No, 5?
That would make more sense with Extinction.
Yeah.
No, because I think Last Night's like really focused on just Optimus.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen them.
I don't recall. Yeah.
I just remember when the trailer came out for 4, and I was just like, no.
I can't. I'm tired.
I'm in.
I'm tired.
I'm done. But yes. This was quite the fun journey of an episode today.
Yes, it was.
Oh, we've already seen The Flash, so you'll have our spoiler review next Monday.
Not an out of theater.
No, we already did an out of theater for Flash.
Which we will put in the description of this video.
Yes. Oh, I hope I remember that. And
I'll do it. I got you.
Thanks, buddy. And if we see another movie other than Flash this weekend, which I'm going to try, I think The Blackening comes out, which I really want to see.
Really funny.
And hold on. I'm going to see what comes out, because I know there's other movies that come out.
Oh my God, we got to do our predictions.
Holy shit, we almost left without our predictions.
Guys, we're sorry. This episode's off the rails.
It's so late. If you knew how late it was right now, you'd be like, why are you guys doing this?
Do you want to go first?
I will go first. Hold on. Let me clarify what else comes out this weekend. Okay. The Flash. Elemental. Fuck, dude.
I thought Elemental was with...
I thought it was too. It's not. It's this weekend.
Oh, what about that?
And The Blackening. Okay. All right. Fuck, dude. This is going to be an interesting box office.
Elemental comes out June 16th.
Yeah, that's this weekend.
Well, all right then.
Okay. Coming in first. Oh, this is tough, dude. Coming in first is going to be The Flash.
Okay.
I think it's going to open to like 70 or 80. Coming in second. I'm going to do it.
Yeah?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Ooh.
Coming in third. Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Coming in fourth, Elemental. Coming in fifth, Little Mermaid.
Okay.
Dude, this is tough as fuck. It's getting rid of Guardians and Boogeyman.
I'm going Flash.
Okay.
I'm going... Ooh.
I have reasons for I don't think why Elemental will do well.
I'm going to go Flash. I'm going to go Transformers.
Okay.
I'm going to go 55 if it gets another drop. 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Spider. I'm going to go Elemental. And I'm going to go Mermaid.
All right, so tell me yours again.
Flash, Transformers, Spider, Element. So we just flipped. I have Transformers still being higher than Spider-Man.
I think Spider-Man's going to have a strong hold this next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I think Elemental will not do great is because, one, the reviews for a Pixar movie have been pretty lackluster. Mm-hmm. And they've been training through the pandemic people to stay home for Pixar movies, and they haven't been doing that well recently.
That's what happened with Lost World.
And Lightyear.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think it might not open as high as they want it to. But, yeah, god damn, dude, that's going to be tough. There's a lot happening.
Exciting times, yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much. I'm so behind on everything, too, now that those are coming out, because I do want to see them, but...
Could you imagine if Flash didn't open number one?
That'd be pretty good. It'd be pretty kind of funny, actually.
It'd be so funny.
It'd be really funny.
Just because of the money they've spent on this this ad campaign. Oh, boy. I'm excited to see the little bits that they cut out of the screening we went to, though.
Yeah, how much we missed.
Yeah. But anyway, regardless, I'm excited. We're all excited. Mm-hmm. We'll be on the channel this weekend and next week. You may have noticed last week I experimented with posting the show just at midnight Pacific time, 3 a.m. Eastern, because I just want to say the show comes out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep doing that for a while and experiment with it and see if it goes well. If it does, we'll keep doing it. If not, we'll go back. But let us know what you guys think of when it drops and what you like about it or dislike about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.